mentioned in there that you had said something real quickly about someone should write a book about the white van. What did you mean? What did you mean by that?
Well, there was an incident where there was a white van in New Jersey across from the World Trade Center, and 5 Israelis, probably Mossad, were giving the high five after the World Trade Center was hit. And they were arrested and then immediately spirited out of the country. The investigation was taken away at the Justice Department from terrorism and put in national security, completely sealed off. You know, if you can look at it benignly, it was the Israelis stumbled across this, didn't believe it, or worse. I just don't know, but the parameters of people knew about this of 9/11 in advance are there, and they need to be investigated.
Yeah, because thank you for answering that, because I had the question I posed to Chief Hayden when he was here. I asked him, I was like, is it possible that these Mossad assets were in place in New Jersey in order to film the first hit? And there's actually a lot of reports that they were there set up before the first plane hit.
They were set up before the first plane hit.
So you can confirm that, that's true, yeah.
Yeah, they were set up there before.
So I asked him, is it possible that Mossad assets could be in place to film the first hit while Hayden and the rest of the entire top tier, the military intelligence command structure, supposedly found out about this from CNN or other TV stations? Do you think that's possible?
That the Israelis knew and we didn't?
Yeah.
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 I mean, here's the way it would work. They'd be watching, let's say, a Hamas cell in New York. They're all over New York. And they run into this guy, Atta, who's staying in an apartment. And he's talking about blowing the World Trade Center up. Now, an intelligence officer is going to say, these guys are serious. Let's just go down there and look. I'm doing a benign interpretation of this. But no one's ever answered the question. No one's ever answered the question, the Iranian connection to 9/11. No one's ever answered the question of Iranian sponsorship of Pan Am 103. The big national security questions are not answered. Well, I'm not proposing conspiracy here. I'm just saying they're not answered.
Well, we know 9/11 was a conspiracy.
They're too difficult to answer, and they can't do anything about them, so they keep the information away. They kept this stuff, for instance, on Iran and 9/11, they kept it away from the 9/11 Commission report.
Well, the other side of this is that it looks like 9/11, one side of it is this cover story in terms of the networks in the Middle East, and the other side is a military operation.
Well, look, can you give me the name of the guy who recruited the 15 Saudis?
No, I can't.
No, we can't because they don't want it out.
Right. But they weren't the ones who were able to guide planes onto the side away from...
Abu Zubaydah, one of the key guys, called Bandar in Aspen right up until the 10th of September, and they started calling me again on the 16th of September.
What does that have to do with these military war games that were completely mimetic of the 9/11 operation?
Look, I'm just saying, I'm with you. I got a lot of questions.
Yep.
Okay.
No, I'm just maybe I just have a more common sense question that I'm not really well versed in all this. There seems to be so many different areas that don't add up as far as the war games, as Jeremy pointed out, as far as the insider trading with the airline stock, and there seems to be a lot of things that point to to high level inside aspects of our government or pockets in the intelligence community's involvement.
Keane and
how do we know?
They've all come out and said it's in the 9/11 Commission that we don't have, these things need to be researched, and they haven't because they don't want people to know.
So, given your
Bush tried to stop it.
Sure, yeah, he did.
I'm just talking about the facts.
Absolutely.
I don't do conspiracies.
We don't want to speculate on theories, but
And the facts are very suggestive of it.
Yes.
It couldn't have been done without help from the inside, including these war games.
I don't know who did 9/11. I don't know who did 9/11 based on the official.
But you speak of Khalid Sheikh Mohammed as the mastermind of 9/11, and he had no way to plan all these war games that were the only way.
I'm just taking out the 9/11 Commission
Okay, I get what you're
where
saying.
he said I didn't work for Bin Laden.
Okay.
And my question was, I'd ask him, who'd you work for then if you weren't working for Bin Laden?
So when you say Khalid Sheikh Mohammed is the mastermind of 9/11, do you actually believe that, or are you just saying
I'm just
what the
quoting
story
the 9/11 Commission report.
Oh, okay. So what do you believe though? Because I mean, the National Reconnaissance.
My beliefs are irrelevant.
Well, no, they're very important because the cover-up of 9/11, technically under the Constitution, Article 3, Section 3, is a cover-up of an act of war, and thus it is treasonous. So we have to have these answers. Anyone obfuscating what actually happened on 9/11 is technically guilty of treason and in covering up an act of war.
Why was there no accountability? Why didn't anybody get fired?
That's a very
what
good
we
question.
wonder as
right.
well. People were promoted. People that towed the party line.
The
You
people
know,
who stood down the
listen,
FBI.
we're not talking about me, we're talking Americans. If I were Americans, I'd demand answers.
Yes.
That's what we're trying to do.
Yes.
We're trying to
Well,
have dialogue, and we
I
appreciate
wasn't
your
there.
talking with us.
Okay, thanks.
All right,
Thank you very much,
And
Bob.
then the last thing I would leave you with is National Reconnaissance Office was running a drill. A plane crashed into their building, and you know they're staffed by DoD
I
and
know
CIA.
that I
right?
know the guy that went into his broker in San Diego and said, "Cash me out. It's going down tomorrow."
Really?
Yeah.
That tells us
Wow.
something.
What?
That tells us something.
Well, his brother worked in the White House.
And
yeah.
when you say that we've hid things from the American people about Iran for 30 years, are you talking about the CIA's involvement in the coup, in the
Well,
revolution?
they just do that by naturally doing it. Yeah.
So you are talking about that, the
Yeah.
CIA's involvement in the coup,
Yeah.
the revolution.
Yeah.
19. Yeah.
There's a lot more there. See you.
Right.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you very much.